Galicio back at it again. He is from Brazil, so this does come stock in Portuguese, but as I've reviewed his images throughout the years, he has a bunch of cool images out there, and he primarily builds on RecalBox. So you can see here, I have the RecalBox. This is running, let's go ahead and see, 7.2.1 reloaded, and yes, this is on the Raspberry Pi 4, which is awesome because you're going to get that more performance increase. Now, I'm pleasantly surprised with the Atomic Wave, Naomi, and Dreamcast performance. But Nintendo 64, Jaguar, some PSP games, you're not going to be able to run them in very high resolution. If you run them on low resolution, they can play. That being said, this has one of the most extensive collections as far as the size. This coming in, around the 256 gigabyte mark, with over 17,000 games, I want to say. Let's go up here and check it out. And look at this beautiful theme. Lots of themes installed. And as I said, he's Portuguese, but you can change the languages. Let's just go into Dreamcast, for example. Yeah, and you can see that the language does get converted over. The only games you really have to worry about are like the computer games. Some of those are in what do I want? Yeah, Scum VM. Some of these are the Portuguese. See how it says BR? BR means Brazilian. But at the same time, he does have, like, for example, in Nintendo 64, you're going to see games like hack games and things like that, if you go all the way to the top here, that are not included on not a lot of images. So something I've always liked about Galicio is he does have one of the more extensive game collections, especially some of the more obscure and not so much included games. And so what makes this image great is, one, for those that want plug and play, hey, it's ready for you. RecalBox is slim, sleek, and easier in my opinion. Look, you just hit start and all your settings are right here. You can overclock really easily. You can change your game controllers for all your different players. Like right here, you just click there you go. Yeah, input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really easy to pair a Bluetooth device. Really easy to overclock, change your language, get into Kodi, get updates, change your themes and UI settings. Just so much you can do in here. Screensavers, like theme over here. Oh, missed it. Theme. You have different themes. Dreambox next. Got about 3 themes installed. Different transitions, fade, slides, instant. Let's go ahead and do fade. That sounds fun. Fade. And I have to restart. Never mind. We'll do that later. And then you can change your the controller. Okay, this theme doesn't have this, but on the bottom left of this image, you'll see I have like my D-pad, my ABXY button, and my start button, and it just tells you can swap those out. So let's go ahead and hit start, get out of here, and go back to show you the all games. So performance-wise, the front end is beautiful. I think it's on fade now. I think I just went ahead and did it, even though it says there's a pending install. But I want to get to all games over here and just show you exactly how many games are on this. As you see here, a lot of systems. Here we go. Oh, and this Lightgun games thing is awesome. A lot of really good Lightgun games. For those of you who watch my channel, I'm really into Lightguns, and he has everything primarily has everything for the consoles. If you notice here, he has all like the different Mega Drive games, all the Nintendo NES games, some Naomi games, not all of them, PlayStation games, and then some of the MAME shooters as well. Pretty dang cool. So everything from Hogan's Alley, Jurassic Park, all the different Lethal Enforcers, like for both Sega, Nintendo, Sega CD, and MAME, and PlayStation. So you can play Lethal Enforcers for many different consoles. Mad Dog McCree, a lot of really good ones that you don't see on every single. Point Blank, you can play Point Blank 1, 2, 3, 2, and 3, the MAME version or the PlayStation versions. So for those of you looking for a Lightgun collection, this is brand new. I've never seen him include this on his prior images. So that is really cool to see. So let's go back here, and I want to go back to all games just to share with you 1,545. And then as we go through the systems here, you'll notice he's got like over 25 systems, just crazy. So let's go ahead and jump into these collections, and I'll share with you what I like about this image, what I don't like about this image. There's definitely a couple shortcomings, and we'll go from there. Of your controller, just plug it in. It should auto detect. Just press A or B, and then it'll detect your Xbox. So you want to go up, down, left, right. Joystick is my left joystick, and then your right analog stick, A, B, X, Y. Select start, and then your bumpers, and then your triggers, and then push in your analog sticks. And I use select for my hotkey. You then want, after you're done doing your gamepad, you want to go ahead and hit start on the menu, and I left it in Portuguese here. Go down to idioma, means language, change it to English, press OK, and it'll restart, and you're all set. All right, so just like I started this video, 1,645 games. As far as 3DO games, these are going to run pretty decent. Some of these games run fairly well. You will have to, like Road Rash, totally playable. Gex, totally playable. Some of the sound may be slightly off, but for the most part, really cool system. Amiga CD, 85. Amstrad CPC, 357. 2600, you got 664. 5200, you got 73. 7800, you got 64. Atomis, we've got 11. I'm going to play some of this later, and it played really well. I am running overclocked, in case you're wondering. I am running, might as well, I have a pretty good case. I'm running it at 2 gigahertz. It's easy overclock. It does come pre-installed with none, though. I just like to overclock, especially because I have a decent case. Coleco, we got 155. Dreamcast, 14 games. So there's one of my, some of you out there I know like a little bit larger of a Dreamcast collection. And at a 256 gigabyte image, though, you really can't fit that many. Neo Final Burn Alpha, 156 is your Capcom Play Systems and things like that. And again, look, there's a hacked folder. It's a lot of fun to play these hacks and try these variants that you may not have tried before. All the different hacks for the Street Fighter 2. So different Punisher. This is Bomba's Infinite. So you have infinite bombs for this one, right? Maybe a little easier to beat the game or give to a kid to play the game. And Family Computer, 229, Game Gear, 264, Game Boy, 501, Game Boy Advance. Let's go ahead and launch again. 1800, wow. So you have all the Japanese and the Portuguese releases here as well. Let's launch a Japanese game, GT Advance 2. And all the games have that little quick jump screen. Okay, and here you go. So he is replacing no bezels. And for the most part, all systems are stretched if they can be. So as you see, this system is stretched. But you can always edit that. Look at this. You go to select over here. Oh, not select. Hit start while you're in the system. And you can go ahead and edit the particular game. Over here, edit this, click in, and then you can pick the emulator you want, right? You see I have the 3 different emulators here. You could pick the ratio. So here's where you can change those ratios if you want to make the screen smaller or larger. I think they even have pixel perfect, square pixel. But different resolutions will get you different ratios on the screen. So for those of you that don't like it stretched, you can run any res you want. So just go back and back. Right now I just left on auto for now, but isn't that cool how easy RecalBox is to switch out both the shaders. I don't know if you saw that you can change shaders as well. You actually change shaders back here for the whole entire console. If you go back to the main menu, hit start, you go to game settings over here, and there's a little shaders, and there you go. You got different shader profiles that you can apply. CRT, gamma, pretty cool, right? And shader sets, your retro achievement settings. So some of you like to collect your high scores. Auto save and load, rewind if you want to rewind a game. That's kind of like saving your state, but it goes back. Pretty cool. I mean, how easy this is. Again, I just hit start on my controller. Game Boy Color, we got 550. Game & Watch, got 59. Amstrad GX 4026. I don't see these games included a lot on systems. In television, you got 158. Atari Jaguar, you got 59. Lutro, a lot of people might want to see what Jaguar games are included. So I do play Tempest, and it's laggy, but I also play, what other game did I play on here that actually played pretty good? I want to say it's one of the more earlier games. Oh, Pinball Fantasies. That game runs great. So Tempest, laggy, Pinball Fantasies played fine. I guess I could play around too with the emulator and things like that, and I might be able to get it to run a little better. Lutro, you got 9 games. That's these games here. Let's go back. Atari Lynx, 76. MAME, so arcade set, 1,900 games. Does he have folders here? No, it's just 1,900 games like that. And you can run a search if you want to search for a game. And I think if you hit the upper bumper, you hit your bumpers and stuff, you can jump letters. See how I'm jumping letters? So it makes these large collections a little more easily manageable. And as you hear, you have video snaps. So this only 266 gigabyte image does have video snaps as well as the artwork. Sega Master System 495, Sega Mega Drive, we got 14. Wow. So this is going to have Portuguese games, yeah. So Brazilian, Portuguese games, hacks, and Japanese Mega Drive games. So the hacks, look at that. A lot of fun stuff here. This is why Galicio has always kind of made my top 5 list for RecalBox images. He makes my top 3. There's not many people out there making good, big RecalBox images in what I've seen that are like really well done. So that's why I'm a fan. Some of you won't be a fan though of this, but as far as that goes, it's a solid choice. MSX Turbo R 660. Nintendo 64, huge set, yeah, 258. Now the problem with the Nintendo 64 is, a lot of these games are not that runnable. I was playing GoldenEye earlier. You also do have these hacks though, which is kind of cool. You got a lot of the Super Mario hacks. But just know that you kind of have to play around with this. Like GoldenEye is really not playable compared to the original hardware. But a lot of these games are, like 1080 skateboarding or snowboarding is good. Tony Hawk runs fine. Mario Kart runs fine. And again, you can kind of experiment with these. You can go ahead and hit either start or select. Let me see. Okay, not select. Select goes to your favorites. But if you hit start, you can go over here and then edit the game. So start, edit game. And then you can change the emulator to Parallels or the MuPin 64 Next. So, some of those run a little bit better depending on the game. You can mess around with your ratio there. And then you can also edit the actual resolution as well, which will help run some of these games. So then you have Naomi, 7 games. So again, kind of with this and Dreamcast, you really don't have that many. But I don't know how the heck he even fit what he did fit on this. Neo Geo 176 is pretty standard. Neo Geo CD at 81 is pretty standard, most of them. Nintendo, a lot, I bet. Yeah, see, 2,200 games because he's got Dynavision games in here. He's got 700 hacks and Brazilian titles as well. Pretty crazy, right? So I'm sure a lot of you, you don't need 6 different Arkanoid hacks. I'm not even sure if they're different. So here you do have, so see, this is a downside to the image is, some of these metadata, as you see here, Consiento, Original, the breakdown. So it's not in English. So not all that translates when you switch the language in the main menu there. So back to this main menu here, I changed my if you go main menu system settings, I changed my language to English here. But all that really does is it changes the RecalBox things, not the metadata, which is scrubbed manually. It's not connected to this script here. So you would have to re-scrape all that and the thing is, I really don't care. I understand some people do, but to me, it's not a big deal. Neo Geo Pocket Color at 9, Neo Geo Pocket Color 82. Video Pack 116, Open Board Games 157, PC Engine 290. Whew. PC Engine CD-ROM 139. Jeez, I'm not sure if you could strip out the sound on these or not. If you can, he probably did, because as you'll see when we get to PlayStation, he stripped out all the music files, and that's how he's able to have so many Pico 8 ports. He has like Doom, Wolfenstein, and this is Sigil. It's a Doom style game. Let's go back here. PSP, a pretty darn big collection here. There are some PSP minis in here, as you'll see. If you go to the top there, you got 114 PSP minis. But as far as PSP games, quite a few, and then some really good ones as well. A lot of fun in this one. There's a lot of, he likes Metal Slug, I've noticed. There's a lot of Metal Slug games throughout this whole image. So PlayStation, look at this, 714 games. Are you kidding me? You might wonder, like, how the heck does he, include that many? And this really has to do with, he strips out the music files. And a lot of people don't like that. And you'll see, I'm going to play Bloody Roar 2, The New Breed. And there's just like no music, right? So when you're in the menu system, when you're going around, if you're in the game and there's background music or music to go along with the game, in some games it had some pretty cool music like Tony Hawk or like Vigilante 8 and things like that. So you're not going to get that music. And for some people that's a deal breaker, and for others it's not. I really don't mind it so much because I see this image as someone who doesn't want a big download, right? This isn't a 500 gigabyte image. 500 gigabytes is a lot for somebody who doesn't have a broadband connection and doesn't have an unlimited data cap. There's some people out there where 256 is still even a lot. So might as well like make the most. How much can you possibly pack in 256? So the fact that it's pretty obvious that that's what he's trying to do here is pretty cool, right? It's like pack the crap out of this thing. And so that's why it doesn't bother me as much. But a lot of this stuff, there's going to be people out there that want the perfect image. And, I've reviewed those images before, the Rick D images, the V-Man images, the Wolfenos images, the Darzone images that are all in English. They're ready to go right out of the box, but they're going to be 512 and to get this many 16,000 games on it. So, there's images out there if you want that perfectly manicured experience. But if you just want down and dirty and RecalBox, I wouldn't say ignore this one. I think it has a place for everyone. So that really is my biggest beef with it, though, is that you especially if you don't speak Portuguese, you've never seen this before. It's really not a plug and play image. You have to change the language. You got to figure out how to do your controls if you've never done them before. So there's that. Scum VM. These games are basically worthless if you don't speak Portuguese. And the metadata as well. It can bug a lot of people. But I've said this before. I mean, what is that? It's like less than 5% of the entire image. But for a lot of people, I guess that 5% is a lot. 32X, you got 38. Sega CD, you got 153. Whew. Another crazy lot. SG-1000, 68. SNES, a lot, again, because when you click in, you're going to have those folders there. Satellaview, Super Famicom, Japanese games, and then hacks. Not as many hacks. In Genesis, we had like 700. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, we only have 100. But something I do like about his images is, all these hack games, a lot of them I've never played before. So I love exploring this stuff. There's new stuff to check out. Solaris, these Zelda games, about 8. Sufami Turbo, 15 games. That's cool that they included those. Super Graphics 5, Vectrex 71, Virtual Boy 28, Wonder Swan 112, Wonder Swan Color 91, 68,000 45, and then back to favorites, and then those Lightgun games I showed you earlier. So there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and put some gameplay on and also do my final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts. Let's start with some Atomis Wave. Like I said, for some reason this Atomis Wave emulator runs great on this RecalBox build. Most of the games I played are great. Now remember, I am overclocking, and that definitely will do better. As far as what Pi I'm on, this is a 2 gigabyte model. A lot of people say, which gigabyte should I get? 4, 8, 2. And I mean, 2 or 4 is plenty. 8 if you want to like future proof or you want to do some web browsing or video viewing, things like that. But it's fine. So really good performance in some of these systems, but you'll notice again, certain Jaguar games, certain Nintendo 64 games, it's still, you're at the limitations of the hardware here, not necessarily the software. And here's a pinball game on Jaguar, run great, 100%, really cool. New pinball game I had never played before, was a lot of fun. But you'll see when we get to Tempest here, it doesn't work so great. So as far as, going through this, you'll see the performance, and I just want to give you my final thoughts on the image, which I kind of already said throughout the whole video. Galicio has been an image maker for a really long time. It's great that he continues to innovate. I think really quickly why you don't want this image is in Portuguese to start. You're going to have to change some of that. Some of the things you can't actually change and they'll be permanent, like some metadata, some of the ROMs and things like that. So you might be downloading things you don't need. Also, a lot of you might not like that there's music files in the PlayStation. But what's going for it is it's a revised version, the latest version of RecalBox. It's really easy to navigate and use compared to RetroPie. It's packing a ton for its size, a ton of hacks, obscure games, Portuguese titles, Japanese titles. So as far as like international and a really great diverse set of not only consoles but ROMs, you can't really get much better. So those are the pros and cons. As you can see, it's a little controversial. Here Bloody Roar 2 playing great, but remember there's no music. Kind of weird, right? Not hearing this with music. So that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.